Yeah, and I think that I wonder if our audience really appreciates the pivotal moment of Moshe and Aaron standing before Pharaoh, and they throw down their staff, and the Egyptians, and even we're told even the children, to show how silly an idea this was, this trickery. I think if we look at it closely, now what's curious is we could probably do a whole book on the idea that what is thrown down, what it turns into, it's always translated as serpent, but the word is not nachash, it's tanin, which alludes to, in one respect, a crocodile, which is very much a figure in Egyptian culture. But it's also sometimes translated like a sea monster or a monster.
And again, that verse in Ezekiel, that's how Pharaoh himself is described as the kind of like the great sea monster that lurks in the Nile, saying, I created the Nile.
Exactly. And one important thing to remember is that the whole bottom line, the whole lesson that Pharaoh missed when they went through this routine of throwing the staffs down, and they turn into tanin, and then Aaron goes over and picks up his rod, turns back into, or his snake, the snake turns back into, and then it swallows the other rods. It's saying to Pharaoh, your power and your life, your whole existence is just an illusion. It's a trick. This whole idea that you're a god, it's a trick. It's sleight of hand.
Because that's exactly what the Egyptians were doing. It's the staff that swallows the other staffs, not the snake that swallows. So there's a beautiful commentary on this by one of the great the great sages, the Khatam Sofer, talks about this, and he says the whole symbolism is that Aaron's staff swallowing the other staff is basically like the idea of a person is like a staff in Hashem's hands. It's the opposite of Pharaoh's whole position. The idea being that a person is used by Hashem. A person is like a vessel used by Hashem.
But the other thing it reminded me of is the fact that the translations they almost always default to serpent. Okay, fine. So you have Moshe and Aaron dealing with this serpentine being, which of course even the Pharaoh's crown, the uraeus, has a serpent that sits on the top of his crown. That is the royal crown worn by the Egyptian Pharaoh. And it recalls Genesis 3:13, when Hashem says to the Nahash, that you will consume dust, you'll eat dust. And it occurred to me how hilarious this was for the Pharaoh. He's ruling Egypt, a land that is full of sand and dust. So it's literally in their mouth every day. So this is the fate, because this is the ultimate Nahash, the ultimate serpent that Moshe, who is the seed of the woman, he and Aaron, they're and it talks about biting his heel. Akev, Yaakov. This is Yaakov this is Israel standing before Pharaoh and recalling the promise that his head would be crushed by the heel. Wow. I mean, to me, it brings it all back. It always brings everything back to Gan Eden, and Pharaoh Moses and Aaron are basically rectifying what happened in the garden, and they're showing the prophetical dynamic. Of course, it even reaches into the future when we talk about Mashiach, which would be the seed of the woman, and Israel is always represented as a woman.